If she had only been ugly, we would still be together.
Good day. This is Dom Irrera, live at the Laugh Factory, and I am here with my man, my friend, a man who I've admired since I was a child, Tom Papa. Tom Papa.
Good to see you, Dom. Thanks for having me here at the Laugh Factory.
Well, Tom, I have to say that you are one of my favorite comedians.
Thank you.
Without being Sammy Maudlin about it.
Thank you.
And I understand you crushed, killed, destroyed in Montreal.
Oh, who told you that?
Well, somebody who hadn't seen your show. They just told me that you were on a kind of a rampage with people.
Oh, yeah?
Beating the shit out of the local frogs.
Did you hear good reports?
I heard very good reports about you. Colleen McGar loves you.
That's good.
Do you know her?
No.
Keep it that way. And how did our XM radio show turn out?
Our XM radio show went great. We got great reviews.
They really review?
No. But it was really good. And I'm happy to come be here and do yours.
Well, the difference...
But when you came in, you said, do you want some coffee? And I said, yeah, black. And then you left and
you
came
did.
back with coffee for yourself.
You did say black.
But no coffee for me.
I'll go get it.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, it's just weird. It's a weird hosting. It's a weird hosting technique.
It's terrible.
To ask a guest.
I probably subconsciously I remembered the ice water from your refrigerator that you offered me at your house when you had promised snacks, and I have it still on tape.
You're right.
Snacks will be included. There were no snacks.
You're right. I didn't bring
An
snacks.
Italian. Who doesn't offer a snack? A nice
It was bad
pastry?
form.
I'm
I was
sorry.
in a car accident. I was
there.
a mess.
It ruined my day too. You know, I was in a very tight schedule.
Well, thanks for
I
having
missed
me.
my dance class because of that. I'm sorry about the coffee. That's very funny.
No, it's all right. Enjoy it.
You sure? You know what? There's some cream in it. You can have this.
No.
Are you gonna pout?
No.
Don't pout. Well, you pout it. You got a pouty tone. Don't look at me like that. That's precious. That's not pouty. Now look pouty. See the difference? This is what a professional actor can do. Regular comedians can't do that. You just go.
No.
You morph. You morph. That's what you do.
Yeah, you ask, I will deliver.
Now, Tom, I don't know if you know that this show's a little different than yours because it's a little more hard-hitting journalism. And as far as emotional things, I want you to let it go. If you feel like crying, cry. Okay, let's start with the most. That's it? Just the word cry made you cry? Oh, that's terrible. What a tough start.
I'm good.
Tom, well, I saw your act, and I kept thinking, what made him become a stand-up?
Yeah, good question.
What makes a talent like you evolve?
Yeah. I guess not getting acting jobs.
Good answer.
Right?
Well, you could play little clubs. It's very hard to find theaters small enough for your talent. If you know what I'm saying.
The one-man show.
I can't believe I didn't get you the coffee.
My first role was Colonel Do-Better in 5th grade. I forget the name of the play.
Really?
But I played a Mountie. And I got to wear...
Must have been very realistic if you were a 5th grader.
I was 5th grade. I had wooden snowshoes.
Uh-huh.
I had the full... I think I used my mom's snow pants for the black pants.
She must have looked hot in them.
Yeah, she was. And my buddy played my Dalmatian, my dog sidekick. And, Dudley Do-Right. And that was my first role, 5th grade.
Interesting. My first role was Othello in blackface. We did a kind of a tribute to Al Jolson.
Were you racist when you were little?
Yes, I was. But I not just racist. I hated all creeds besides all races and minorities.
Did you know at that age that creeds meant more than black people?
No. Yeah. I mean, I didn't care. I hate it indiscriminately.
Yeah.
I was never anti-Semitic or racist. I just didn't like certain drivers. I would get ethnic with drivers. As it, like you whatever they were, I would call them that.
Right.
But I wouldn't take it with me.
When I was a little kid, for sure there was a lot more racist jokes, for sure.
There was always that, hey, do you hear that one? Then as soon as the guy looks away, you know it's about the
Right.
Pollock, the boat.
Exactly.
Where'd you grow up?
Kentucky.
No, you didn't. Where'd you grow up?
No, Wisconsin.
No, you didn't. Where did you grow up? Seriously.
Seriously, Idaho.
Why are you lying? Who lies in an interview?
Well, when I was preparing
It's
for
a
this
podcast.
interview, which means tying my shoes, I was thinking, when Bob Dylan would do interviews, he would always make up his past. He would create a past that wasn't necessarily true, but he was painting an image of himself of this folk singer and coming from the Midwest and his father was like, doing all this stuff. And I was like, well, why am I always just saying the truth? Why don't I paint a picture? And I don't know. I guess no one just said to him when he said I came from Kentucky that no one just said you're lying.
Did he really do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's funny because remember that Woody Allen bit about how, he was getting close to death in some scene, and he said, my whole life went in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Amy Lou, back in Kansas, the water hole. And I realized it wasn't my life.
Right.
Somebody else's life. But you've been really good
Yeah.
so far. I should tell you this, the first 5 minutes, if you can because you're better than Mark Maron was, and he's good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would hope so.
I mean, Mark and I, Jamie's usually here. Yeah. So then you got the language barrier and the problem.
Oh, you mean he sits in on it? He has a mic?
He's a co-host, but he never shuts up.
Oh, that's terrible.
He doesn't listen.
That's a terrible idea. Why do you have that?
Because it's his idea. It's his club. What do you think?
But you're his number one client.
Yeah. And what am I going to do, fire him?
Well, no, but I would kick him off the podcast. I mean, he's a wonderful man.
He's funny when there are people that aren't as bright as you that can pick up the energy.
Do they... I couldn't see him and Mark hitting it off.
No, him and Mark weren't here together.
No, but this is going well.
And Joe Rogan, I don't think he'll be here with Joe Rogan. They had a big fight on Carlos Mencia.
Right.
About the steal. Dane Cook, somebody accused Dane of stealing, all these stealing. Do you indulge in that at all?
Stealing?
No. Do you? I mean, I don't even know people's work that well to know if they stole.
No, I really. It's so. It seems like such an old thing and such an old idea.
Yeah.
Stealing, because the only way that you can kind of have any kind of attention is if you're completely yourself. There's so many jokes have been told throughout the years, and so many subjects have been hit on over and over and over. That unless you're just uniquely you, it seems like you don't really get to stay around very long. So it seems like it's almost impossible. I don't know how you would go about.
Well, it's so much energy, and you're right. I mean, the only reason that people stand out is because they're themselves.
Yeah, it's the guy, and then if you write really strong jokes for you, like I don't know if I could steal your jokes. I probably could steal the.
Well, they're not really my kids, so how could I do your jokes?
I could take your.
I could say Tom Papa's kids.
Right, right. Example. Geez, my wife. I guess I could steal your Def Jam bit.
You would be funny doing that.
Yeah.
That's one of the most fun bits for me to do because of the investment in the character.
Yeah.
Because the emphaticness and the total immersement in that character. I was at the bus stop, bus didn't come. Why they gonna call it a bus stop when motherfucking bus ain't even stopping? What's up with that? Like the investment. That's what I love. There was a guy that came on stage a couple weeks ago. They were doing Chocolate Sunday, which I find kind of offensive. I mean, it's all black people. They call it Chocolate Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Was that a white guy's idea or a black guy's idea?
And a brown guy.
Jamie.
You know what I mean? Probably. A brown bombshell. But it's just so funny because the guy came out, and I don't know where else other than like a really hard-hitting gangsta black club could he do this material. He comes out, he goes, and the song was playing, he's going pussa 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 pussa, and then he goes, you white motherfuckers don't have a right to clap to this song, right?
Right.
And then he goes into his act, and I was thinking, man, imagine if a white guy came out and starts singing, there are places I remember, whatever.
Right.
And he goes, don't you black people clap to this? And it's like, you're getting so much fucking trouble.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's I'm surprised I'm not booked on the Chocolate Sunday show.
I know, you're perfect. And you're perfect for Russian peasant woman night and Latino, crazy Latino night. Yeah, it is weird how they like. Well, that's only like Montreal. That's what that's about. A lot of it, just making money. They have all those theme
The ethnic
shows.
show and the
nasty show. Ooh,
right, exactly.
Make sure you write a really dirty set. It's so hard to write dirty. Who could think of that stuff?
I know. There are guys in the nasty show though that when they book it right, it really works. Like I remember, it was like Nick DiPaolo and Patrice O'Neill.
I remember that one.
Yeah, and I think Norton. Were you on it? I don't think you were.
I wasn't on that one.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It was a couple of years ago, maybe 2010.
No, I was on the one with Patrice.
But it was so good
Last
because
one that he did. I was on that one.
It was so good because it's all original guys with saying like really insightful new stuff. It could filthy.
Yeah.
But not filthy for filthy's sake, which made the weight of the show so great.
Yeah, well, that's what I used to love about Schimmel.
Yeah.
Schimmel was the best dirty comedian I've ever seen.
Right.
Because his jokes were structured so well.
So great.
I mean, he just didn't have... And I would talk to him about it. I said, just do... because his shark bit was clean.
Yeah.
And I said, just do more of that, just to have a variety.
Uh-huh.
He said, I'm afraid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said, I'm afraid. I'm insecure about it.
Really?
That's the only way he felt comfortable.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Schimmel before I was a comedian. A friend had him on a VCR tape and brought it over as a Showtime special, I think. And I hadn't laughed that hard at a stand-up. So all the stuff like he had that great twist of like getting caught by his parents masturbating or whatever. Ever be in this compromise, and then he would get busted, and I was just dying. I could not believe.
Yeah, he was
so funny, and such a nice guy. When I did become a comedian, I met him at the Stress Factory, and he took me out for coffee in between the shows, and was just so great. He was really an awesome guy.
I did the Rodney Dangerfield special with him, and two guys that are gone now, him and Bill Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really, to me, the best. I thought.
You did the Dangerfield with those guys?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was funny because I got the compliment that I didn't want.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, I mean, I'd rather not have the compliment, even a partial compliment. I'll tell you what they would say. They go, I saw you on the Dangerfield special. What a great show. You were my favorite. Beat you and that guy Dice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I thought, well, if you align me with him, then I'd rather you not like me.
Right.
You know,
right.
If they just said you and Schimmel and Hicks, man, then I would have gone, I was proud of that.
That was all those guys were on that.
Yeah,
one
Lenny
special?
Clark, who was terrific on it, Carol Leifer,
wow,
and Barry Sobel. That was the cast.
Well, that's a lot of guys.
Yeah, we all did 7 minutes, except Dice did 10 because he was managed by Dangerfield's manager at the time.
Oh, really?
He got the extra 3 minutes.
Jeez. Did he get a lot more heat off of it than everyone else?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he did because of the character and the... Talk about like stealing stuff. I don't think Andrew wrote that. If I remember correctly, I'm not accusing him, but I think what I was told was Otto and George did the that bit originally, the Hickory Dickory Dock.
I heard that too.
But I don't care. I mean, it's so long ago.
Right.
Live and let live.
Live and let live, you thieves.
You stealing motherfucker. Have you ever had to cost anybody for stealing anything of yours?
No, but there have been multiple times where I had a joke and put it out there and like had it out. It was like an older bit, like it would be on. I would have done it already on Tonight Show or Letterman and had it out there for a while, and then I would hear it come up, like after it was like. But that point, it's so, I've never had something stolen like in the moment where it was kind of hot and it was like, this is my joke now. Yeah. But after time, people would come up with, and I say come up with because I don't even know that they would steal a joke like that. I think it's very possible to come that close. Yeah.
Well, I had a situation. I think I told you. I'm not going to name names because I like the guy too much and it's petty.
Daniel Tosh?
No. I was in the lobby here.
Right.
And I asked this comedian who I admire immensely, and he's a great comedian, for help with the joke. And I set it up. I had everything, but I was playing with different punchlines.
Right.
2 weeks later, he did it on Letterman. Right? And I just called him up and go, thanks for helping me with that joke by trying it on Letterman. So now I know it works. I can do it at Bananas.
Oh, brutal.
And he said he didn't remember. And I'm thinking, this is like one of the smartest people I ever met. And I said, you remember everything. Don't don't bullshit.
Why won't you say who it was?
Because it wouldn't be.
It's not right?
Yeah.
Because he did you wrong and you feel like
No, I just don't want to. I wouldn't want it to go out
because he's still around.
Yeah, yeah, he's great, and I have no problem with
Is
him.
he successful?
Extremely.
Movie star?
Will you stop this?
Is he a movie star and a
It's
comedian?
not guess. Did you want me to get you coffee? I can't believe I forgot. I feel so rude.
No, it's okay. I like doing interviews when I'm sleepy.
Are you sleepy? You want to take a nap?
No, the coffee would have been helpful, but
It would have been.
I think it's going well
It
without the
doesn't
coffee.
kick. It's going very well. It doesn't kick
Yeah.
in though until like 45 minutes after.
That's not true.
Some people say hours.
That's ridiculous.
But I'm telling you what they say. I don't say it.
Who are these people?
I don't know, but they're busybodies.
You know,
They don't
when I
anything
have
about
my
caffeine.
in New York, I have a little espresso maker. It's called an espresso and has these little pods. It's very elegant, and you put them in, and you have these little espressos. Because I'm the only one that drinks it in my house, and I was like, this is so Italian. It's so un-American because
Yeah.
we have a big thing of coffee. You get 16 ounces of liquid, and now I'm doing this little thimble. I was like, I couldn't get used to it, and
It's a little bit.
then it started to change. I started to see exactly what it was, that little shot, that little...
You felt the energy?
And it's perfect amount. And now I'm out here in L.A., and I'm away from my espresso maker. I miss it in such a bad way.
You know, you can get those out here.
You can?
Yeah.
I
They
don't-
don't have like with the Continental Divide. It doesn't stop.
Yeah, but as you know, I live two different lives. I have the New York
Well,
life and the
a life
L.A.
of a man
life.
and a life of a woman.
And my vagina will not let me get an espresso
I'm
maker.
going to say something about your vagina, and I'm going to say this all on the record.
Go ahead.
Never stinks.
Well,
no matter
it's-
what you do, you work out, you have an unstinkable.
I think it's diet.
Yeah, well,
I think it's
it is.
diet.
It tastes a little bitter, though.
Well, that's the espresso.
Oh, you're quick. You are quick.
How are you doing? You getting in shape? Have you gone back to drinking?
No, I haven't drank.
You still haven't.
I haven't drank in 17 days.
Nice.
I can't
job.
believe it. I
That's
can't believe
great.
it.
I texted Daniel yesterday and said Dom's drinking again.
No, you didn't. Did you really? Because I told him I quit. Now, you know what he said? Totally unsupportive. He goes, now we got to start with the pizza.
Oh, that's what he said. I said Dom quit. Dom's back drinking again. He said, well, something like at least he lost the weight.
I don't know if I lost weight, but you know what cracks me up is people that go, boy, you really dropped a ton of weight. I'm thinking I weigh exactly the same. What the fuck? I had a guy, Harlan Jameson. You ever do bananas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I know.
He's like a big AA, GA guy.
Oh, yeah?
He's a real gambler.
Yeah.
Gambling more than anything else is his problem.
Uh-huh.
And so he can't gamble at all.
Yeah.
He said, I would love to just go to Vegas and lose everything. Does that sound like fun to you?
sounds
All the hard work I did, I'd like to throw it away on red. But he said to me, it was so funny, the unsupportiveness of a guy supporting me.
Yeah.
He said, it's really great. He said, I'm proud of you for not drinking. He says, now you got to work on the weight. He goes, how much do you weigh? I go, 204. He goes, get the fuck out of here. You're a lot more than that. I'm going to lie to you about my weight? Lying to...
But be honest, you cut 2 off of it.
Well, I cut 4 off of last year. I don't think that really is significant, though.
I read an article that
How much do you weigh, by the
that
way?
we all lie. We all lie, and most people they just cut the edge off of things. It's like, so how high's your cholesterol? It's really 260. People say it's 256. Or if your weight, you're 204, but you're really 208. People will just cut. Isn't it interesting? You'll just cut a little off just to make yourself
It's not
feel.
as big a sin.
Yeah. It kind of makes you feel like you're not really lying.
Well, you're not.
You're not.
It's not a real...
But why do we do it? There is that, because I do it all the time.
Well, we do it about our age. We do
Yeah.
it about everything.
Yeah, you just always you don't want to be exactly what you are.
What do you weigh?
I am down to 195.
Down?
Yeah,
How tall are you? 5'10"?
5'11".
Are you really?
Yeah.
Long. You have long, beautiful, sinewy legs.
Well, it holds up my vagina. And
Did I mention tasty?
no, I just went for a physical, and I've been in New York for the last 2 years just eating like a madman. I've been working out, but I've been eating like crazy and lifting. So these muscles, they don't weigh nothing.
I was going to add. That was my next question.
So,
Where did you get the pipes?
I gained a little bit, and my cholesterol was a little bit high. So I'm a vegan now.
Yeah, right.
17
You know how
days.
difficult that is to be a vegan? Vegan is so much more difficult than vegetarian.
It is. It really is.
And
I have been doing it for the last 2 weeks.
Vegan?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
I'm just doing it. I just don't want to. There's the China study and Forks Over Knives, and there's these. They're basically saying our diet is causing all of these millions and millions of people to be on statins and Lipitor and all this other stuff, and it's a heart condition, and we eat a way that people in other countries don't eat, and we have the heart disease to show it.
Well, as soon as Japan started getting McDonald's and stuff, they're
yeah. So
their heart
before I
attack rate.
just become for the rest of my life, I'm going to be on these drugs. I'm going to actually see if it's true. You read about it all the time. Like, why don't I break away from the masses and see if I can?
Yeah.
Just to eat, I'm not even sure if I can keep doing it, but I want to see if doing it for like 3 months does change the levels. And if it does, maybe that'll give me the impetus to keep going.
Yeah, I don't know if I care about life enough to actually invest. I mean,
I get that.
like in the sense that I want to live, but I don't know if I'd want to be that consistently unhappy to sacrifice that.
It's been 2 weeks. I was a vegetarian for like 5 years in my
Vegetarian,
20s.
like no
vegetarian. At the time, no fish. No,
fish. See, that to me doesn't.
And I did it for a long while, and then I went back to just. I grew up Italian too, and I just went back to eating meat. And
how come you only offered me water?
Enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
And
it feels a little heavy at first, doesn't it? Like a steak.
Yeah.
When you're off it, because I was off for a couple of years, and the steak really lays there.
It does. Well, if I eat, like in New York, we would go out after performing and stuff, and we'd go to the strip house and have a big steak and martini and the potatoes and all that great stuff.
Yeah.
And I would be up all night. I called it the meat sweats, where I would just be laying there sweating in the middle of the night. And I'll tell you this, though.
I never saw you drink a martini, by the way.
I drink them all the time. They're
You
my
never
favorite
drink 'em
drink.
here. You drink red wine.
I don't drink them here because they don't make them right.
You got to drive too, right?
And a drive. But I mean, one cocktail. I'm really down to the like a gentleman, one cocktail and you're good.
I wouldn't mind getting back to that level someday, but not now.
Yeah, not now. You got to clean up. So I have been eating this way just for a couple of weeks, and just under 2 weeks actually, and I've dropped 6 pounds, and I haven't gone to the bathroom in 2
Really?
weeks.
You sealed?
I don't know what's going on.
Sealed anus?
But I don't know. I'm just gonna see. I want
You
to
don't go to
see
the
if this
bathroom at
really
all,
does,
really?
if it really works.
Does it really change your bathroom?
Yeah. When you eat steak, you shit like a man.
Shit, like a fucking lager. Like a lager in the Great Northwest.
I'm like a pet
You can
rabbit.
ride them.
I'm like a pet rabbit.
Machine gun shit.
A marble every now and then, without me even knowing it's happening. No, it's terrible. But you know what? I'm embracing. Neil Brennan's a vegan.
Well, he looks like a vegan.
He does.
He looks like a vegan from another planet.
He really does. And he actually inspired me, not from saying anything, but just the way he acts. And I was like, you know what? To be a vegan the way he is, which is, he holds himself with such arrogance that he looks at everybody else and how they they're weaker than he is and dumber than he is.
Yeah.
And I can get into that mindset pretty easily. So that's the way I'm acting now.
You're arrogant?
Yeah, I'm like,
Pompous,
please, you're
supercilious?
so weak.
Yeah.
Like looking at a smoker, like a cigarette smoker. It's the same way as looking at someone who's eating. Like I was at this place the other day, and they were bringing up barbecue stuff, and I was just like, every one of these guys is on statins. Every one of these, sure, everyone's eating ribs and going crazy, but all these guys here are on Lipitor, spending millions of dollars.
I don't take Lipitor.
You don't? What do you take?
Crestor.
Yeah. See?
I don't need Lipitor. I don't need that shit.
It's ridiculous. I don't want to take it.
I think I could use it.
I'm sorry I have to pull the mic away from my face because I have to open up this bottle of water because I have no coffee.
I'll go get you coffee. You want
I
coffee?
don't need it.
I'll run for you. Like a
I
little.
think it's time for new sneakers. Were those white?
These are Todds. These are like $400.
Were they tan?
shoes. Yeah, they were tan.
No, that's good. 'Cause they look like they were white. Now they're dirty.
No, they're not that dirty. They're wearing out. I wanted to ask you something, man.
You going on the road this weekend?
I'm not. I'm going to Vegas next week. I'm working at the Paris.
Gross.
The Empire Comedy Club. You say gross? Thanks for the support. Then I'm working at the Club Casbah in Wildwood Crest, New Jersey.
Wait, what are you doing at the at Paris?
It's called the Empire Comedy Club.
It's a club.
Yeah,
in Paris.
At the Paris, yeah. No, at the Paris.
Yeah. I didn't know they had a comedy club there.
Yeah, it just started a little while ago. Do you? No, see, because I'm in a weird place. I don't know, but I can headline in Atlantic City at a big room.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can, girl. You go, girlith. But I can't headline. I can co-headline, like I did it with Panette at the Monte Carlo. But I can't.
You can't draw in Vegas, is what you're saying.
Not that way. Not like 3,000 seats.
No, Panette can.
Well, with the two of us, we did well.
Right.
You know.
I have to co-headline there too.
Yeah.
For sure. It's hard. It's hard to sell tickets, and to sell tickets in Vegas is really hard.
I was thinking about you opening up for Seinfeld, because opening up for Jerry is not like an opening act.
No.
Because he's in his own kind of world, and
yeah,
he's so famous, and he's so good that it's not like, oh, I'm opening up for a fucking hack. But
no,
you know, so like, because I used to open for Cher.
Yeah.
And she's so different than me.
Right.
Even though you and Jerry are both comedians, I don't see any downside to you opening, because you could still headline.
No, the only downside,
I think it's tough for him to follow 20 minutes of you. Not because, I mean, he's great. But
Yeah.
20 minutes of you is fucking hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, they're so amped to see him.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You're right. I mean, he is kind of in his own thing, and it's really, at this point, it's like we just have a blast doing it. Like, I don't get to do so many dates with him because I'm out doing a lot of my own things.
Yeah.
And where before there was a couple of years where I was doing it a lot, and I learned an amazing amount from him, and I still love going out with him. I always feel like now it's like our golf weekend or something. You get to go and hang out and do the thing that you love, and just being around him though as a comedian, like it's I say it's like going to a chiropractor for comedy. It's like by the time you leave that weekend, you're all adjusted, you're thinking right.
Yeah.
He makes you feel so good about being a comedian. Yeah. He holds comedy in a higher regard than anyone I know.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about him is he has a great sense of humor. I remember one time, I guess Dice went after him. We were all eating at Canner's, him, Mark Schiff, Larry Miller, all those guys, and Reiser, and he said, it was pretty funny because we were asking questions about, I was the only Christian there. I was questions about God and afterlife, and I said, is there an afterlife in Judaism? And it was like a Woody Allen movie. And they would start agreeing and disagreeing. So we go, why don't we go over to the religious store? There's a Jewish store across the street. And we asked the rabbi.
Oh, yeah?
And I go, Rabbi, is there an afterlife in Judaism? He goes, well, there is and there isn't. That was the answer. Okay, thanks. I feel better now. But what I was going to say was,
with
like,
Dice?
Dice had kind of a bad mouth to him, and he goes, who do I bother?
Right.
He goes, what's he bother? All I do is my little bullshit act, and I go home. I don't know. So, but I mean, he's taught me more off the court than on the court.
Yeah, amazing.
About life. Like one time we were taking a flight. We thought we were big deals.
Yeah.
We upgraded on People Express for $50 each.
Yeah.
This is Seinfeld, who's a billionaire now.
Yeah.
And we're like all happy. And we hit turbulence. And this is the difference between me and Jerry, because I'm much more visceral. And he's like more Spock-like.
He is.
You know? And the plane starts bumping. And I go, Jerry, doesn't this bother you? He goes, of course it bothers me, but there's nothing I can do. I go, but that's not the point. I'm fucking upset. I'm scared. Can't you be scared? Nothing I can do. Like one night he said to me, and I don't think he's a superficial cat. I just think he handles the world. You know, we all look at it differently.
He's a scientist.
Yeah, he's thinking, and he is.
Yeah.
And he said he comes over. Him and Wallace came over to see me at the Dunes. And he goes, he gets me alone for a second. He goes, I broke up with Stacy today. Right, this was his girlfriend, his dentist's daughter. He was going out with, which is a pretty good coup.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a nice picture of your daughter. Who's that there? And I said, well, if you want to talk about it, I'm here for you. He says, no, there's nothing to talk about. It's over. It's over. I'm thinking, I wish I was fucking like that. I'm like pouting and fucking, crying and.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like when I'm away from him, like for any period of time, just professionally, just thinking about what I'm doing, TV-wise, act-wise, all that kind of stuff, I can get the same way. I can get kind of emotional and kind of confused. And then you're with him for one afternoon, and everything's aligned. You're completely thinking clearly. He cuts through
amazing.
all of the nonsense, and he just has real core, solid beliefs in life and in comedy.
Well, I remember
and
when
you
they-
come away with it just with this clarity.
Yeah. I remember when they wanted to get rid of Larry on that show,
Uh-huh.
on the Seinfeld show. And then when he goes, Larry goes, I go. And the thing is, I'm thinking, Jerry, what integrity?
Yeah.
He's not going, oh, please, NBC, you know. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
The fucking Larry's brilliant. I'm brilliant. Fuck you.
No,
And-
there's a loyalty that he has to the people that are around him, and to his profession that are I've really learned a lot about.
Yeah.
How important it is for friends to bring each other coffee and things like that, and then how important it is.
Coffee's important.
And you dedicate yourself to your friends, and you dedicate yourself to your family and to your work, and that stuff, it's if you are loyal to it, it'll be loyal to you. It's an amazing thing, and it doesn't hurt that he's hilarious.
It's very
And
funny.
we just laughed the whole weekend.
He's very fun to hang out with. People don't, you know, they see a kind of a closed, aloof side to him, which he can shut down. But when he likes you, he's fucking.
It's great.
He said something to me one time. It's so interesting how relative the perspective is. And I'm not saying this to stroke myself. I'm just telling exactly what he said. I came up stage at the Improv. He goes, he says, I'm watching you, and I'm thinking, you're a performer. I don't even feel like I'm performing. I feel like I'm reciting lines up there compared to what you do. And I said, Jerry, we all have our strengths.
Right.
And he said, well, I'm going to try being, and I'm not saying at all I take credit for anything, but he did become more invested in his acting,
Right.
in his stand-up.
Right.
'Cause there was
Communicating it in the joke in different ways.
And there was a time, like, before you were around,
Yeah.
and I don't know how much you saw him, like, in the clubs. You
Not
wouldn't
at
have seen
all.
him that much.
No.
He was very stiff. He was always brilliant, but he didn't act out the thing like he does now.
Right.
You know?
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that just in the time, because I didn't meet him till the show was all done, and he was coming back to stand up, years after, and just watching him work the theaters, he's a lot more expressive. He has jokes that the punchline, the tag is a physical thing more than words, which I never saw him do when we were first starting out. And that's
Right.
only in like those last 9 years that he's been doing that.
You can always learn, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because him and Tosh, you mentioned Dan before, we have like a disagreement, not an unfriendly one, but I'd rather do clubs because I like the energy, and not that I could fill the theaters those guys fill anyway,
Right.
but I can do theaters 1,000 seaters or whatever.
Sure.
But I'd rather do 3 shows at a club a lot of times than 1 show at a theater, because I have more fun
Right.
with people drinking and and Jerry'd rather do. He goes, I don't know why they can't they can't sit on their hands for an hour and a half and see my act.
Right.
And I understand that. It's
Yeah,
a brilliant
yeah.
act, but we just have different tastes. In it.
Yeah, I know what you
What do
mean.
you prefer?
I haven't done enough theater stuff as selling it on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I am feeling there are certain markets where I sell really well, and I'm doing 5 shows in a weekend, and I know I could just move those people, even 80% of those people, into one theater for one night.
Yeah, no,
that part is appealing to
Well, it's
me.
good for you because you have a family.
Yeah.
And you want to come back home. It's good. Me, I'm still hitting on
Yeah.
college girls.
I-
Pervert that I am.
Do
So
you
what
get
you
college
majoring in?
girls? Can you
Like-
get college girls?
I can only get girls that have major flaws.
That's good,
They're
though.
that young, because they have to have some daddy issue or something.
Well, there's a lot of that out there.
Yeah,
though.
there's a lot of that. It's amazing what you can get with the cachet of being a stand-up and all the people you know. Like, I never say who I know, and when they ask you, they're more impressed. You didn't
Right.
tell me you knew him.
Right.
Well, why would I tell you? Just, what am I, a jerk? You ask me, I tell you. Really? Sean Penn? You know Sean Penn? I had my girlfriend. Sean Penn's a good example. I had my girlfriend. He used to come around the store years ago before he went out with Madonna. So I've known him a long time.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, Sophie, the one you never met, the French Canadian one.
Yeah.
She was very anti-show business, which was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't need to talk about it at home. I was fine with her. I loved the girl. And one night, she loved Sean Penn's acting. one night I'm at the Improv, and he comes out, and he intercepts me as I'm leaving the room, and he wants to talk. And he's got a great memory. So I said to him, he said, you know, I started saying, "Do you ever do this bit?" I go, well, I forgot about that. And then I said, well, look, you're going to ask me questions. I'm going to ask you one question. What was it like working with Woody Allen? Sweet and dirty Lowdown. He goes, he had one note for me the whole movie. I said, what was that? He goes, that last scene, nothing was right. That was his whole note.
It's great.
But anyway, to get back to my girlfriend, she's walking by, and I thought she was going to come and say hi. She keeps walking. Now, don't forget, she hates name dropping, hates show business. We get in the car, she goes, you never told me your new Sean Penn. I go, because I can't fucking win with you. If I tell you I'm a name dropper, now I don't tell you, and we're having this conversation.
Right.
You know?
So back to the college girls, though. So when you go on the road...
Hey, when did the interview switch?
What percentage of the time does it work? Do you get girls?
Well, I don't have any, you know, stats on it, but
you do well.
Like it's all according to different parts of the country, and you know, some of the staffs are so available to at least have fun. One of the good things about taking blood pressure medication, and I know that you're a vegan, I heard, vegan who drinks coffee. One of the good things, it mitigates your sexual drive.
It does.
So now I feel just like I'm Scottish or Irish instead of Italian.
You just want it once in a while.
Well, I want it like normal people, like three times a week, but not like every 5 minutes, like a gibbon, you know.
You're like a eunuch now.
Yeah, but so that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
So you're more discreet, discerning of who you want to go out.
Right.
Because I still am afraid I'll get disease and still I don't want to just fuck anybody.
Yeah.
Like even when I got hookers, I used to be addicted to hookers. But even when I got hookers, I never fucked them. They just basically, you know, they danced and they fucking danced on my, you know, they tickled my balls, or whatever the fuck they did. But I didn't. I was not like I just would fucking take them and bang them. You know.
Mostly because of the disease part.
Well, I skeeved them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I skeeve anybody who would come to my room just to do anything for money.
So how would you get a hooker? Like if you're in, say you're playing in Atlanta, and would you go to the Yellow Pages and just look them up? And
the Yellow Page, because I totally trust that. You know what it is.
Honestly,
like,
was that?
Yeah, but or one of those magazines. But the thing about the Yellow Pages is, a lot of them are just the same agency.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a lot of them try and be the A. Aardvark. Aardvark is A-A-A-A-R.
Just to the first?
Yeah, to the first. But I haven't done it for a while.
No?
No. I feel good not doing it.
You were addicted to it, though.
I was addicted for a while, yeah, because I wasn't an alcoholic then. It was before.
So you wouldn't drink, you would go back to the room and just order a girl after the show?
If I didn't feel like putting the effort into hanging, if I didn't meet somebody I liked,
right.
I'd rather be with somebody I liked and actually not fuck them than be with a hooker. But the time thing, there's so much time on your hands, and God forbid I should write something new.
And how long does the hooker stay when she comes to your place? To your room? Well,
you either pay for a half hour or an hour, or in the afternoon there's a special. You get an hour and a half for an hour, right? And I suggest the afternoon, Tom.
Would you get it before the show?
Sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I've never been in this little world.
How long have you been married and engaged and gone out with the same woman?
I've been with my wife for 14 years. We've been married 12.
Oh, okay. So you got married at the right amount of time. 2 years is what women want. Yeah. That shows them you love them. And,
right.
Yeah. I fucked that up with my 8-year engagement. A decade engagement.
What is it? And I'm asking this because I'm asking it of myself as well. And I know this is your podcast, but I want to ask this question. What is it about? You would think that as a comedian up on stage in a room filled with 300 people and you're killing and everyone's loving you and applauding, then you walk out into the lobby and people are coming up and wanting pictures and, oh my God, it was the funniest I've ever seen. And you're getting all of this stroking and all of this goodness and all of this sharing, human sharing. What is it that makes the comedian long for more contact? Like you would think that it would be enough, but when you get back to that room, it's a lonely place.
Well, sometimes it is enough, and
right?
Yeah,
it is a lonely. You would think it wouldn't be.
I've changed though. I don't know if it's with age or philosophy, but like sometimes I just don't think I know the outcome. I know it's not worth it. I was down at the Comedy Magic Club, and we went over to Hennessy's. The English girl, Irish girl, and some guy was with them, and he wasn't attached to them like sexually or anything. And they said to me, "Why don't you bring us both back? We'll make it worth your while. We'll have a great night." And I thought to myself, that sounds great, but we're in Manhattan Beach. We're in Hermosa Beach. Who knows if I have to drive them, give them $100 for a cab, deal with them when they're sober, maybe they'll throw up later. All this shit's going through my mind that wouldn't have before.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? Let me just go home and fucking put on amateur lesbian videos. I still haven't seen the end of it. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if they turn pro at the end.
It's almost like it's the. I guess they're just separate things, you know. There's the performing is one thing, but it doesn't touch like the other.
Well, that male ego thing.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I think there's a part of us, subconsciously at least, that still does it, that we're showing off in front of girls. Or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, gay guys think they're showing off in front of guys.
Yeah.
But I know for, straight guys, there's still that element.
Yeah.
I mean, especially like in a place like this, you'll see like 4 beautiful girls between 18 and 25, whatever the age. And when do you get a chance to talk to them?
Right.
And and them laughing and having, because you're like on that mini date with them at a time.
Yeah.
And you have that focus, and they're laughing at you, and it's an amazing phenomena.
It is amazing, but it's almost and it's powerful, and it's almost like a politician. Like you see, all these politicians always end up with their pants down, because I guess it's the ultimate conquest is to actually be with them physically. I mean, unless you get to that point of actually taking them physically, you haven't
consummated
all your or used all of your power. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the idea of Clinton getting that blowjob in the Oval Office. See, I think the fact that he was in the Oval Office made it a little kinkier, a little dirtier, because it was so sacrilegious, so disrespectful that it made it kind of sexy.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, imagine the president. And I'm not judging him
No, I mean, it's still, after all these years, mind-blowing.
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 Imagine the president, and he's probably too lazy to take his pants off.
Just sitting there.
Probably just down to his knees.
Putting a cigar.
Yeah, smoking it, puffing it over her head.
Oh, God.
That's real good, Monica. That's the worst Clinton impression ever.
But there is that thing that, you always hear, like, there are comics, whenever I would, like, look at the pictures of guys up on a wall at a club, and there's like those clubs that have been around forever, and there's thousands of guys, and you're like, what happened to all these guys? And there's always like a story. It's always like, well, that guy was into drugs, that guy was chasing women all the time, that guy was, and women is like an equal to drugs or alcohol, you know what I mean? It's
can
one
be
of those,
an obsession. Yeah. I mean, it is amazing when you think about that. When you go to those walls, and you see some of those clubs, and think of all those people, it's amazing we're sitting here.
Yeah, amazing.
The numbers are fucking astronomical. I figured out one night that there are more NBA players than there are headliners in the United States. Guys that legitimately headline at A clubs.
Right.
There's more NBA players, so it's harder in numbers to be a comedian who headlines than it is to be the top of the line NBA.
But a part of me thinks that there would be more
comedians.
Yeah,
you would think that, but I mean, if like I'm talking about who headline around the country. Because there are regional comedians,
right?
Like in Tennessee who they can headline in a couple states there.
Clubs,
but guys, I mean, I don't want to sound fucking self-centered and bragging. It's way too late. No, but I mean, guys that are like around the levels that we hit, there aren't that many.
No, there aren't.
And then there's Daniel and Jerry who are at a different league, but there's so many underneath.
Yeah, maybe we can get. There still should be fewer. I think we need. If we can get it down to just the 4 of us.
Who would you like to eliminate from comedy if you could?
Oh man. A lot of people, I guess. Anyone that's, at a club that I'm going to play soon.
Who draws better than me. Well, it's funny because, Jim Brogan.
Yes.
Did I tell you this on your show?
I don't think so.
About Chris D'Elia? I don't know if I told you. But anyway, I like Jim.
Yeah.
But, he's kind of very old school.
Yeah.
And he's very kind of like snotty about comedy, which is ironic. And I've told him this, so I'm not saying anything bad about him on this show. Excuse me. He was the one on the Tonight Show that would organize your set, the material, and yet he's been doing stand-up for 40 years, and he's the Where You From guy.
Right.
How ironic that he'd be the guy to tell you,
right?
You know.
Yeah.
But he said to me, it was so drenched in bitterness and jealousy, and I told him, he goes, Chris D'Elia on stage here, whether you like him or not, man, is he effective.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just, he's a delightful performer. He's jumping around and he's funny. And he goes, I don't get it. He has no jokes. I go, Jim, they get it. Look at them laughing. Listen to that applause.
Right.
You know, he's not, the guy's not relying on being dirty.
No,
he's dirty, clean. He's a fucking terrific actor.
Yeah,
and that's his approach to comedy.
Right, exactly.
And he's the first one to admit he's not a writer.
Yeah, what's he supposed to do? Just stand at the mic and try and be a wordsmith?
When he can do the other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, I'd like to do both.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you want to be able to have stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't be afraid to, you know, he's also a great actor. He's on that show.
Yeah.
And he played a drunk scene, which can easily be hacky.
Over the top.
And he was so realistic. I was like, oh, this guy, all right, he knows what he's doing.
Which is interesting because he doesn't drink.
Really?
Yeah. I find a lot of the comedians are one way or the other.
Yeah.
There's not as many like you who are like moderate drinkers.
There are a lot of guys who are AA too. There's a lot of guys that used to drink a lot and now don't. In New York, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, Collins AA, right?
Yeah, there's all those guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to AA. I went for the...
It's boring, right?
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, I felt like they stand up and they go, I'm Bob and I'm an alcoholic. No shit, Bob. First of all, you're wrinkled like a prune. You look like you still drink, and maybe you should start again because your liver's not functioning anyway. And I mean, I felt like saying, I'm Dom, and I thought I was fucked up till I heard these guys.
I'm Dom and I'm leaving.
Yes. My God. No, I would never go to AA. I mean, you know what? And that's why I'm glad that I could stop drinking.
Yeah.
Because I proved to myself that for me, it wasn't the place.
Right.
And I don't need the attention.
Have you had to quit before?
No.
Have you had other times?
I never reached the level that I reached in the last couple of years. I mean, I quit in college because I was playing some basketball, and I just wanted to keep in shape. I drank in high school until about a junior year. I drank freshman, sophomore year. Yeah. You know, like as a kid, fucking bad, drinking quarts of beer, you know, and that kind of shit. But in college, I didn't drink at all. Right. I didn't drink till I was like, you know, up in New York, and I was doing commercials, and I was going to get into stand. I was doing improv, and I was just like kind of depressed. I missed being in basketball leagues. I missed my friends and my family.
Aw.
Dom. No, but I mean, I did, and you know, and the reason I started drinking lately was I lost my sister, my mother, my cousin Johnny, and my girlfriend left. So it was like not a big. It didn't take a team of therapists to figure out. What's making you drink?
It's called the blues.
Look at the. You never had a problem with anything with that kind of stuff.
No. When I smoked weed when I was in college a lot. And then when I got out, I still doing it. And that's the only thing that kind of had a grip on me. But I always was conscious of it and always knew like when things weren't getting done, and I was just...
Yeah.
And I just wasn't as funny on it, but I kept doing it anyway.
You weren't as funny?
No. There was a time... there was this kid in high school. His name was Chris, and he was one of those... like wise ass Irish guys, you know, like you know that Irish sense of humor, like he could curse better than anybody. It's like one of those guys. Like he was so damn funny. And in high school and the beginning of college, we would just be at parties and we'd just be riffing with each other. We would just go off each other, and you know, people would gather around us just because we were being so funny, and we'd just go toe to toe, and it was just we were having a blast, you know, and it was always trying to top each other, and we just. So sharp and so funny. And I came back from school one summer and showed up at this party, and I was high and saw him and hadn't seen him in a while, and we start riffing again, and he ran circles around me.
Really?
Circles. Why
was he sober?
Yeah, he was sober and I was high.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was missing a beat. And I was just like, you know, I remember consciously being like, oh, I think this is making me funnier, but it's getting in the way.
But at the risk of sounding like the Cleveland Plain Dealer, were you always like the funniest one in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And I always had guys around me who were funnier, like, but
not really though. I mean,
not really. There was
funny,
like
esoteric funny.
Esoteric funny, but there was this kid, my best friend when I was young, this kid Keith was really funny, and our whole life was just making jokes and and watching comedy and doing comedy, and that was nonstop. But I was funnier on a bigger scale, like throughout the school or whatever, the class or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I always was with funny people, but yeah, I was always like one of the funniest.
What cracks me up when people say to me, "I really like to get into stand-up," and I go, well, "Were you always funny?" They go, "Not particularly." I go, "Boy, you're like funny." And they go, "What the fuck makes you think?" I'd like to get into pro basketball too. You know, It's like, why would you think that you're going to turn this on? Because I knew, even as a kid, that I was separated from the group in some ways, even the other funny ones. Didn't you have that feeling?
Yeah, well, in what way? What do you mean from the funny ones?
Well, like there was a part of me that knew that I could take it to a different level if I had to.
Right.
And I knew that like I didn't need to do like cheap shots.
Right.
About gross stuff and you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had a feeling that.
Yeah.
You know.
It was when I moved just from one town over, but you're still with all new people.
Where is this, in Kentucky?
In Kentucky, and I remember specifically in 7th grade that I was using it because it was around all older kids in the summer, and there was no one in my class that was around, and I remember specifically being funny as a tool to hang out with these guys and get their girls to like me. That was the first time I was consciously like, oh no, this is my role. This is how I fit in the group. This is how I'm going to kiss that girl. This is how this is going to go down.
Yeah.
And you know, I was always funny just screwing around, but then it was this is my weapon. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it's a great thing to arm yourself with. I mean, and I really do believe that I've seen it where beautiful women like a sense of humor.
Completely.
I mean, it's not, they can only carry it too far, but
no,
if you're okay, if you're like average and you can really get away with a lot and score chicks you would never score in the real world.
You can laugh them all the way into bed if you have to.
Well, you can. I mean, you can never. I mean, I always think of that, not to put down plumbing or anything, but I'm thinking if I'm a plumber in a bar, I don't have a fucking shot at this age with these looks. But if they see me on stage, my cachet goes up, my value, cha-ching, going up different levels.
And even if you're not on stage, it's I'm kind of laughing to myself because when you talk about us as kids, when you think about now we're grown men, we've literally, you wake up every day, every situation, whether you're buying coffee or you're at the gas station or you're getting a smog check, if you're around another human being, you're doing something to make this situation funny.
Right.
You're always working and bombing because a lot of people don't know what you're doing.
Right.
But you're like, I was literally just getting a smog check this morning and I was like, making jokes with the guy. I mean, you were nonstop.
Yeah.
We're like Rain Men or something.
Well, when I walked in and you were so fucking funny about the coffee, I was thinking, no, save it for the show. Don't eat it up.
But it really, I don't know how. Like when I look at my kids and their kids' friends and their
Do
families,
they know how funny you are, your kids?
Yeah, and they know at least that I'm weird. Like they know that I'm not like other dads.
Well, yeah.
But I look at the other dads and I'm like, some of these guys are they're not even amusing. They're serious.
Well, son.
Grown-ups. Yeah. And I just think, what was that house like? Could you imagine having to just sit at dinner and your dad's just discussing things?
Thank you, Father.
Exactly. I mean,
may I be excused?
Oh my God. I just do not have I do not have the capacity to take anything seriously in any situation.
Yeah.
I really don't. To sit there, even death, or I mean any of it, if I'm not kind of like twisting it to make it funny, I would collapse. Wouldn't you collapse?
Yeah. I mean, I think of my family. I think my cousin Johnny, who I lost to neck cancer, And he
See, hilarious.
But right. But he was so funny even till the end. Like he just had it. And I mean, even when he goes, Dom, he says, there was a Chinese guy, Chinese doctor that looked at my neck. He goes, when he saw the fucking lump, he got pale. He sat down. He goes, and I'm feeling bad for him. I got this fucking lump in my neck, and I'm thinking, should I get him a glass of water? Right. And like half of him is serious, but half of him is funny. You know?
I know. It's look, you got to go through. Everyone's got to go through it, right? Everyone's got to go through all this stuff. Yeah. It gets ugly. You know, you have a choice. You either kind of try and enjoy it, or you just kind of just bear down and go through it. I'm not a bear down, go through it guy. No,
me neither. There's always something. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess, because our minds are open up to comedy. But this is, sometimes things are just fucking funny. My uncle died, and the guys were my uncle hated everybody except his daughters and a couple people in the family. He hated, he loved God and nature, but he hated all races and all, he was a very bigoted guy. And he was always in a bad mouth, and he hated Dick Clark. Remember Dick? Dick Clark was the ruination of society as we know it. Now, that's a little extreme. And anyway, they're standing around the coffin, a couple people are crying, and this one guy, Lee Fidelli, goes, they called him the Moose because his head was small, so it looked like he should have antlers, like his head. And he said, Moose, he never hated anybody. And everybody went from crying to like, and then he goes, he never had a bad word to say about anybody. And everybody just starts fucking like shaking, laughing. Then he goes, he never hated anybody except Larry Boa. Larry Boa was a shortstop for the Phillies.
Right.
Fucking hated Larry Boa. I mean, how would that come up at a wake?
Right.
Like that kind of shit. Now, he wasn't trying to be funny.
Yeah. He wasn't trying to be funny.
No.
Oh, really?
Which made it funnier.
Right. No, my grandmother died, and we were at the wake, and you're just sitting there. It's so bizarre. You're in a room with a dead person that you loved, and they're just sitting there in that box, and all these people just kept coming up, and it's like, well, how much can you just kind of cry and be like, yeah, I know, and so everyone would come up, all her old friends would come up and go, I'm so sorry about your grandmother, and I'd say, I knew it was you.
Did you really say that?
I started, they would be like, some would get it, and some would just be like, what are you saying?
I knew it was you the whole time.
I'm sorry, I knew it was you.
Well, Tom, thank you so much, my brother.
Is that it?
Well, I think so. I mean, I'd rather you come back another time.
Wow, it was an hour.
Yeah, we did.
It's long. So where does this air? This is on HBO?
No, this is iTunes.
On iTunes?
Yeah.
And what's it called?
Dom Irrera Live at the Laugh Factory.
Dom Irrera Live at the Laugh Factory.
I think live at or live from.
And do you get how long you been doing it?
This is probably, I'm guessing, maybe our 15th.
Oh. Show. And do you get a lot of downloads?
We had some, you were great, man.
Do you get a lot of downloads?
Yeah, we're doing well. We're in the top 50.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And
so I could tell people to follow me on Twitter at Tom Papa?
Yeah.
And it would help because some of your 20 people would then follow me.
It's more than 20.
Is it?
Yeah. And if you ever need me for the XM show again, I'd love to do it. I love working.
You got rave reviews. I don't know if I told you that.
Are you serious?
No. But people did like it.
Oh, good.
I get some tweets about it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It's an amazing new world, isn't it?
It is. I don't know how it's going to last. I don't know. I mean, this is good because you're here and you're in the Laugh Factory, which is cool, and you expect people to say racist things in front of the logo. But I think
or hateful things about rape or
right.
or mass murders.
But I think at a certain point, it seems like everybody's doing everybody else's thing. There's
but only the cream of the crop will survive.
Yeah.
I think anybody can start a podcast. But,
yeah.
Look, if we're lucky enough to have talent at your caliber,
It's
am I
true.
right? But it's interesting who's good and who's not.
Oh, yeah.
Like I have one comedian, I'll tell you off the air, who's one of my favorite, but his energy for this was fucking draining.
Really?
He gave nothing. He answered questions like I'm a real interviewer.
Really?
Instead of just me talking to him.
Someone that works here?
Yeah, here you go again. Is he also an actor? Does he drink black coffee?
I don't like that you don't tell.
Well, I'll tell you when we're done.
Who was it? Everyone knows. They'll be like, oh, yeah, episode number 8.
They don't know.
That was terrible.
They don't know.
Did you air it?
I doubt it.
So you don't really. It's not. I can tell it's not one of your friends. It's just a funny guy.
No, he's a guy who I really think is a terrific writer, but he was just boring.
Oh yeah.
You've had that on
Daniel.
No, not Daniel. Daniel's not boring. I love Daniel.
I'm kidding.
Tom Papa, thank you.
Thank you very much. This was enjoyable.
What is your tweet? What is your Twitter?
I'm at Tom Papa.
At Tom Papa.
Yeah.
One of the
Who
best
do you keep
stand-up
looking over
comedians.
there? Is this on camera too?
Yeah, we're on the camera. That's why I dressed up like this.
Oh.
We're on camera, and what about your radio show? Plug that.
Oh yeah, I have a show on Sirius XM 99, the comedy channel, and it's called Come to Papa.
Come to Papa.
I interviewed big people like Mel Brooks and Jerry Seinfeld and Carl Reiner and Colin Quinn and oh yes, and Dom Irrera.
Thank you. Good night.
If she had only been